Stuart, I'm lost. Stuart! Oh, he's been gone so long. I'm lost. What am I gonna do? I'm so hungry, so thirsty. Help! Somebody save me! Oh no.
Hi, Mark.
Stuart! You're here! Where have you been? It's been so long. I was lost. I'm hungry. I'm scared.
What do you mean? I've just been away 10 minutes. I went to the car for the coffee and the biscuits.
Oh, I'm saved. Oh, it's a good coffee, Stuart.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yes.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Home Together.
Hello.
Our story today is about some people who really were lost in the wilderness. They needed food, drink, and someone to guide them in the right direction. But before we hear that story, here's a challenge for you. Your challenge today is a riddle challenge. You'll hear some clues about some things, and you have to guess what they are. You can pause the video after each one and see if you can work it out. Here are some members of Explore, our high school group, with a few riddles for you to have a go at.
What gets wetter the more it dries? A towel.
What's full of holes but still holds water? A sponge.
What goes up but never comes down? Your age.
Maybe you could write some riddles of your own, or search for some online. Why don't you share your best ones with us on email or the Facebook group?
Well, as usual, that sounds great, Mark. I'm looking forward to having a go at that.
Yeah.
But now, on with our story.
The people were thirsty. They were hungry. And they were complaining. Moses heard their complaints. Moses was their leader. God had sent him into Egypt to rescue his people who were slaves there. God gave them a way out, a path through the sea, and freedom. Now, God was guiding them through the desert to the land that he had promised to give to them. And the people were grumbling. It's so hot. We're so thirsty we might die. We should have stayed in Egypt. The only water they could find was dirty. So God made it clean. Then God told Moses that he would provide them with food, with bread and meat. That evening, quail came to the campsite that the people could catch for meat. Each morning, the ground was covered with white flakes. They called it manna, which means, what is it? And what was it? It was the bread God had promised. It was white and tasted like honey wafers. There was enough every morning for that day, and the people had to trust God that he would give them more the next day. The people continued to complain to Moses, but God continued to provide, one time even making water come from a rock for them to drink. But he provided in other ways too. Every day, God went in front of them in a pillar of cloud, leading the way. At night, a pillar of fire gave them light and direction. Many weeks had passed, and they set up camp at a mountain called Sinai. God again made an agreement that if they would be his people, he would be their God, and he gave them instructions and rules, written on stone, for how to best live in love with him and each other. Moses went up the mountain to meet with God, and the mountain was covered in cloud and fire. The people were afraid. Moses was gone for so long that the people gave up. They failed in their agreement with God. They made a statue of a cow to be their new god and asked it to lead them. When Moses came down, he was angry. But what would God do? The people had given up on their agreement already. Would he do the same? No. God forgave the people, and for 40 years they lived in the desert, with God providing direction, protection, instruction, food, water, and eventually, yes, a land to live in, to be their own, just as he had promised.
Stuart, are you here?
Hi, hello, yeah, I'm in the shed.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
hi there, Stuart.
Hey, come on in
Hi.
if you can
Oh.
get, yeah.
Thanks. Oh, this is cosy, Stuart. What
Yeah.
are you doing in here?
Oh, I'm just checking on my quail.
Quail.
Yeah.
What, like in the story?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think these are mini quail, Japanese miniature quail, but they're the same kind of bird.
So do they take much caring for?
Well, obviously in bad weather like this, I come out every day to check on them, make sure they're all right. They need to have food, they need to have water, basic things like that. And I provide that for them, really. So, yeah, I mean, they take a fair bit of keeping an eye on, yeah, certainly. But they give me so much joy. I mean, I just love them.
Oh, it's good to be back in the dry.
Oh, it's horrendous out there, wasn't it? It really was. Yeah.
I love coming to Stuart's house. And Stuart, I love seeing how you care for all the creatures that you have here. And you must care being out in weather like this, providing everything that they need. Actually, this reminds me of our story from today.
What, you mean the quail?
Well, yes, the quail,
Yeah.
but also the way that God also provided for his people. He provided them with everything they needed. And in fact, even when they turned away from him, he still loved them. He forgave them and he carried on providing for their needs.
Yeah. Some of the people actually, the manna that he provided on a day by day, some of them actually gathered more than they needed and thought they'd keep back some for tomorrow. And they discovered that it went mouldy overnight. And I think they quickly realised that God wanted them to trust him for tomorrow, trust him on a daily basis. I wonder if Jesus had that in mind when he taught his disciples to ask God for their daily bread. I think it's the same thing. It's saying that we should trust God for everything that we need.
And as Christians, we do believe that God still provides for us now. He provides us with a world that works, with plants that grow and provide us with food. He gives us bodies that work with that food to grow and develop. He provides us with rules and instructions for how best to live with each other, with him, and in the world that we have.
And I guess the appropriate response to that is to be ready to say thank you to God for providing us with all of those things.
And to remember that when we are needing something or struggling, that we can speak to God and we can ask him to provide what we need and then trust. It may not always look how we'd expect it to, but he will provide. Well, that's all from us for today. We're going to hand over to Sarah in a moment with your activities, but it's goodbye from us.
Bye.
Well, hi again, everyone. Wasn't that a great story about God providing for Moses and his people? To help us remember some of that story, today we are going to make some little birds to help us remember the quail in our story. So in your pack, you should have a round piece of card. We're going to start with this. We're going to, nice and easy, we're going to fold it in half. And then for your next bit, grown-ups, you might need to help. We're going to cut a little slit just along the top here of our bird's body. Doesn't need to be too big, maybe just a few centimetres long. Should look a little bit like that. Then next you're going to need your piece of paper that is in your pack. This is for your wings, and what we're going to do is a little concertina fold, like we're making a little fan. So you're going to start at the top, fold a centimetre or two, and then you would flip your page over and fold it back towards you, then flip it over again, fold it, and you're just going to go back and forward to make a little fan. Then when you've done that, you're going to fold this in half. And all you're going to do is post that through the little slit that you've already made in your bird's body. And then you can kind of fan these out a little bit. Open up your bird's body, and then you've got a little rocking bird. What you can do is you can add a little face, a little beak. You can decorate your bird's body. You can even decorate your wings before you fold them up. And you can make some really fancy little birds to help us remember the quail from our story. And the next thing you've got in your pack is a little packet of cereal and a piece of string. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make a little bird feeder for our gardens to help us remember the way that God provided for the people in the story. So all you're going to do is take a piece of string, take your cereal, and you're just going to thread them on your piece of string. Be careful to hold on to the other end, or maybe tie a knot in it or something so you don't lose them all. You're just going to thread on as many as you like. You can make a couple, you can cut your string in half and make 2. So once you have threaded your cereal onto your string, all you're going to do is tie a knot in the top so they don't all fall off. And then you can take that outside and you can hang it up in a tree, somewhere in your garden near a window, and you can watch the birds coming and having a little feast. As usual, we would love to see how you get on with your activities. I'd love to see your decorated birds, or you could take a picture of some birds maybe in your garden that have found your snacks and had a little treat. Please get in touch with us if you need access to our Facebook group, or if you don't have Facebook and you'd like us to share your pictures, please just send us an email and we will get them maybe into our next video. We will see you again soon. Bye.